Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV and Radio, where wisdom meets experience. Join a dynamic lineup of thought leaders, professionals, and changemakers from around the world. Dr. Madeline Chan from the UK, Mariska Dupreya from Australia, Red O'Loughlin from Texas, USA, Carolyn HEWARD from the UK, Zunette Lub from Cape Town, South Africa, as they share expert insights, personal journeys, and impactful strategies for success. Talking Heads isn't just a show, it's a global stage for education, collaboration, and inspiration. So elevate your knowledge, expand your perspective, engage in conversations that matter. Streaming globally, empowering locally, this is Talking Heads, only on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Our show today is Talking Heads. I'm Caroline HEWARD and I'm one of 5 expert head presenters. I'm a TV presenter and resident therapist for USA Global TV and Radio, and also known as the Harley Street Stress Expert. Our topic today, I'm really excited to share this with you because this is so topical and on the minds of everyone, many people that are struggling. Mind under siege, the mental toll of war, crisis, and constant negativity. Nurturing peace within our world outside, for some, is heavy to bear. I'm an expert presenter in today's topic, and it's also part of the Mind and Body Connection series. Let's begin. When we think about our world today, it is full of negativity. It is full of negative news. It is full of unpredicted negative news. It's full of war, famine, rising costs. There's global unrest. There certainly is in the UK. There's been many protests where it's brought out people from all sorts of walks of life and backgrounds and cultures. The headlines, if you read the press, it creates fear, anxiety, even helplessness in some, and for some, a feeling of uncertainty for the future. The older feel left behind. Men are told to be strong and not complain, and yet they're struggling under the noise of the crisis. And some of us feel powerless and even disconnected. And exhaustion is something that many people are feeling right now with the global negativity. And I'm going to call it that because there is a lot of things that are happening that are causing a negative experience for many. There's no control on the outside of us. So in this show, we're going to look at nurturing hope and calm and resilience from within, and explore the unseen mental toll of our changing world. It affects our thoughts, our relationships, and I'm going to share some practical ways to restore balance, inner peace, and emotional strength in our turbulent chaos. We live in a modern world, modern times, and there is a deep psychological effect of the constant exposure of global crises. The headlines create a high level of anxiety in many. There is, for many, doom scrolling. Have you heard that term? If you haven't, it's when you're scrolling on social media and all of the media stories on your social media profile and in your feed are all doom and gloom. I have a different kind of feed. I have a lot of feel-good stuff. I also have people that share jokes, and I like and respond to different music that comes in. And because it's short, I have the capacity to listen to some of it. And I've even got a favourite group now, a rhythm and blues R&B favourite group that is modern day, because they're doing a lot of songs from the time that I was around, where I was young, free, and times were easier, times were much softer and much more carefree. And so things like the stylistics, where I hadn't really thought about them for a long time because they haven't been in our music charts. But I've been hearing R&B songs from a modern group that is singing that tone of song, that feel-good music, which makes me feel good. And so we are usually in a space, many of us are in a space where whatever we're looking at, especially in social media, particularly, and even in our conversations, and this is why it's so important to consider what we're saying out loud, even what we're thinking, and what we are liking, loving, and having attention on. Because the algorithms are such that what they do is, if you like, love, or comment on a certain article or a certain song, what the algorithms do, well, it will give you more of that you are reacting to or commenting about. And so I'm laughing and reacting and loving and having dance emojis to different articles and saying, wow, congratulations, when I see them, because I've got over 6,000 in my Facebook feed, particularly, I'm thinking of. And it's very hard to see everything because Facebook in particular only shows you what you are reacting and responding to. So even though you might have a lot of people within your profile and you are friends and connected with, you will only see a certain amount of posts. So that is something that is important to share with you, because if you are seeing a lot of doom and gloom posts, it's because that is what you are interacting with. I'm seeing a lot of jokes and humour, and I share some of those jokes and humour to friends and to my mum, who, I usually put a little emoji saying, this made me laugh, because this is something that lifts me and it makes me feel different amongst all of our chaotic global times. And I'm sharing this with you because it's important to know how the algorithms control what we interact with. And it can be filled with a lot of doom and gloom if that's what you are interacting with all of the time. And so I want to share with you how you can change what's in your feed. One of my nephews said that he's not really very interested in Facebook because he just gets a lot of political posts and negative posts, so it's not for him. And I says, I get lots of jokes and music, and I have fun stuff as well as some of the serious stuff, and obviously the work I do. And he says, well, you must have a better Facebook than me. And what I felt was important to share was he didn't understand that it's what we are interacting with. How we are in every aspect of our life, no matter what we are exposed to, how we are responding, reacting, is what frequency we sit and reside at. So if we are seeing and thinking a lot of doom, gloom, how am I going to cope, what's going to happen, and focused on the very negative aspects of what's happening, then we will take on board that frequency. Everything is frequency. Everything is frequency and energy. How you are in one aspect is how you are everywhere. I want to share with you that I've literally just spent a few weeks being very focused on my accounts and sorted out my paperwork to meet a deadline. Now, the reason that I wanted to share this with you is that it doesn't make me feel in a high vibration or frequency. But what it does make me feel when it's done is accomplished. When it's done, it makes me realize that I can do it when I put my mind to it. It's just that I don't have the attention on it. And when I sort out my records, they're usually so polished and almost very finished that my bookkeeper sometimes has to really look for any mistakes, because I do my records in a few weeks. Now, that lowers my vibration. That makes me focus very intently on the small things, on receipts, on pulling out things from the computer in terms of printing off receipts and invoices that I haven't had the attention to do as I go along, which is very low vibration energy. So this afternoon, because I've handed my accounts across, they've gone by post and they will arrive tomorrow before midday to my bookkeeper. I've been listening to 70s and 80s music and my vibration has changed. I feel different. This might sound silly and it might sound a little crazy. Everything is frequency. E, energy, equals MC squared. Everything is frequency. And in our global challenged world times, the frequency is very low. And we are exposed to those radio waves, both in the press, social media, in our social media personal feeds, our business feeds, and on the news. And when I switched on the TV, I think it was yesterday, I was absolutely heartbroken when I saw that Jamaica was in crisis in terms of suffering a hurricane and called, I think it was Hurricane Melissa, and homes and the whole country was devastated. There was nothing and people were crying. And when I saw that, I just felt terrible. I felt sickened. I felt upset. And I couldn't not be emotionally distressed by what I was seeing in such what I would believe is more often than not a very hot country, and it's unusual for them to have something like that. And so I'm sending prayers and blessings, and I have some friends that are over in Jamaica, and I can't believe what they're suffering in our current times. And yet I'm here and I switch on the heating because it's cold and it makes me feel warm, and I have my blankets to keep me warm. This is reality, and the reality of the doom and gloom and the very negative press and media that is out there has an impact on how we feel and what we attract. And when we focus and our energy is low because we're upset, we're emotional, and we are in that fear space of worry, anxiety, all of those are low vibrations, and it affects the root chakra. The root chakra is at the base of the spine where it meets the genital area. So it's low back, and it also affects the hands and feet. And when our root chakra is out of kilter, the saboteur of the root chakra is fear. So when we are in fear, we will affect our support mechanisms, and we will also affect how we experience life. So when we are in fear and anxious and in worry, we will attract more situations and more experiences that are going to be of that vibration. And so it was quite hard for me to switch, to move to a different vibration. But it's that simple. When I was scrolling, there was a wonderful R&B song that came out that just lifted my spirits when I was scrolling through Facebook. And suddenly I felt different. And it's as fast as that. It's as quick as seeing something different. And it was only about a minute long that suddenly I felt a different vibration. I felt a higher frequency. And that means that other things can come in. Whatever frequency that we are at will attract whatever we are experiencing and feeling. So if we are experiencing anxiety, fear, worry, if we are experiencing constant attraction and constant attention of all the different global crises that are going on, and I'm not wanting to diminish any of them at all because it's serious, but we can, in our own personal bubble, change how we feel and how we react to those constant negative messages, those headlines that ricochet the anxiety that we feel and affect our mood and affect our behaviour and make us feel helpless. I was privileged to be a part of a focus group that was looking at behaviours of their customers. And it was very recent, it was this year, and one of the things, it was more about, not about the company itself particularly, they were looking at attitudes and behaviours of their customers. And I was really intrigued because one of the things that we had to do was a vision board, looking at the things that were affecting us, what our worries were, what our concerns were, what we spent our time doing, and on the other side, what our hopes and aspirations are for the future. I was surprised how much in that particular focus group there was a worry and concern, especially as it was in the UK, of the wars, the global crises, the weather, the politics. There was even worry about different politicians and the rhetoric. So there were pictures on the vision board. And I was really quite surprised how much people are affected. And this was primary research early this year. And I was not only surprised, but also quietly shocked that people can live in rural areas and yet something that's going on in another country far, far away impacts how they are feeling and how they are living. And I noted how different my vision board was in terms of the things that were worrying me were much closer to home, were much more practical in terms of things that I couldn't control, but that were actually within my personal sphere of family, work and activities that I was doing, rather than the external global markets. So when we feel helpless about external challenges that are globally happening, and we witness that kind of suffering, as I shared earlier on, we don't have any control to change what's happening in Jamaica, what's happening in the political world, and what's happening in terms of our global crises, our weather, our climate change. We have no control. We can only be a witness and have an awareness. And you may be surprised that different generations suffer in different ways. Young people, I've had the privilege and the compassionate privilege to help young people that have felt so desolate and can't see any future with everything that is being radiated and given and thrown at them. And young people are navigating uncertainty in today's world. They're navigating financial stress and global fear. The elderly, they are navigating an anxiousness because a lot of elderly are feeling displaced because of technology. And I'm going to talk about the silent generation in particular, because a lot of the silent generation, they haven't got into the technology in the way that maybe a lot of baby boomers have and other generations after that. And so they're used to paying things in cash. So it's difficult for them to pay things by direct debit because they don't see the money and they don't see where everything's going because they're used to paying things with physical money and they're used to seeing people, and now they can't go to a bank because most of the banks are doing online. And so they're feeling a huge displacement because of our modern times. And men are particularly struggling. When I was in the post office this morning, there was somebody in front of me that had a number of parcels, and he said, "Oh, we said I'm archaic. I'm living in past times," and he had a lot of parcels, and I said, "I'm sending mine by a different form of postage, which was more than half the price of the normal postage from the post office." And I shared that with him and he was surprised. And many people in travel, when I look online for offers on traveling, if you just go to the station and purchase a ticket, it is so much more expensive. It's ridiculously overly priced. And people that are not tuned in to the technology and not using that, the online forums and the online ways to buy and interact with life, are struggling and paying a lot more and losing out. So where does it leave us? We have a huge population that are displaced because of our movement towards AI and our movement towards more online activities. And because technology in some ways is absolutely amazing, and we are here in a technology capacity, I am actually in the front of my living room as a studio with my lighting and on my laptop. And this just wasn't possible in the silent generation. To be able to be seen and to send my message so that many people can hear this message and tune in whenever they click onto this YouTube video is nothing short of miraculous. And because it is miraculous, there are good things about our technology. How we are interacting creates the challenges. Because just as good as this is, and as wonderful as the technology is, it has its downsides and it has a low vibration. And sometimes technology doesn't work. Sometimes it can wipe out accounts. It can wipe out being able to do anything. I was completely frozen yesterday afternoon because I couldn't access my email because Microsoft was down. And this had a catastrophic effect on the fact that I wasn't able to continue doing the work, and so I had to stop until they'd sorted things out, and I landed up working all night. That's a personal thing, but many people were out. Many large companies are out because of technology and flaws and updates. Men, we have an expectation, our society has an expectation that men are strong. They are strong without emotion. And our society and cultural beliefs in the wider society culture is that men are not supposed to ask for help. There is a lot of attention nowadays, and there is much more conversation about the challenges that men have had to be strong and not show their emotions. And I'm really pleased to know that there are many male groups that meet online, in person, that talk about their emotions and talk about what's bothering them. And sometimes they say a problem shared is a problem halved. So if you are bottling things up and if you're not feeling that you can ask for help, remember that there are others that are feeling like you, and there are many online forums if it's difficult for you to get out. There are many people in the same boat. And when I have a problem, what I do is I Google the problem, and then it's amazing what comes up in terms of solution. I remember when I was in London, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I saw a mouse on the stair in between the hallway and my bedroom. And I saw this mouse on the stair. And I kid you not, I went straight to Google and I put in, I've just seen a mouse on the stair. And it came up with all the human ways to remove infestation of mice. And that was on the Saturday night, and on the Sunday morning I made a call, and a humane company came and they sealed all the areas so they couldn't get in anymore. I wasn't frightened, and I was surprised I wasn't frightened. I didn't scream, and I thought I would, and I didn't feel helpless. I just thought, oh, there's a mouse on my stair. And it looked like that little mouse was more afraid of me than I was of him, it, her. I don't know what the sex was. It felt like that little mouse was afraid. And I knew it was a mouse because it was a very tiny, thin tail. So the reason that I could have been in huge fear and hugely frightened and anxious turned into being resourceful. And I even surprised myself that I was so resourceful because I didn't feel fear. Living on your own, it certainly changes how I respond and how I behave to certain things. So it's our brain's stress response and exposure to repeated negative news that creates our negativity and our low vibration. So let's reclaim control by choosing how we engage, by choosing how we respond and react can make a difference. You can't change what is going on. You can change how you respond and how you react. It has a ripple effect on our families, our relationships, and our emotions. And it can be exhausting and create irritability if we are in that low vibration of negative energy. It will move us into a place of withdrawing and a place of disconnection. The anxiety and hopelessness affects our family dynamics as well as our community, both internally, online, and externally, in terms of our work and our colleagues. So build emotional awareness. This is how we build resilience. Communication will strengthen your bonds. If you are feeling anxiety or fear about something, I kid you not, you will find other people that will feel the same. You are not alone. And sometimes when you're alone in your thoughts, you think that it's only you that's hurting, only you that's worrying, that there are many people that are suffering. And when you share how you feel, it gives a permission to the other person, to the person that you are speaking to share how they are feeling and that you are not alone. The signs of distress can be physical, emotional, it can affect our behaviours and even cause depression. To be in awareness, and I'll say that again, to be in awareness is the first step to healing. And it is healing when we raise our vibration, when we are not stuck in the negativity. And I'm not saying that it's not there, but when we raise our own personal vibration, we can collectively raise the vibration of our communities, our families, our nations, our countries, and more often the planet. And my invitation to you is to, when you are feeling low, to be in awareness of why you're feeling that way. And if it's something that you're not in control of, look at what you can control and move into a place of having open conversations without the feeling of shame or stigma. Some simple practices to move you into a space of feeling calm and inner peace. Practices like breath work. If you slow down your breathing and breathe into your belly, anxiety resides in the upper chest here. And when you're feeling anxious, you will breathe in a very shallow way, which feeds the head, and that creates more anxiety. But when you breathe down into your belly, you will feel different. When you slow down your breathing, you will gather a sense of resilience, and you will move from anxiety and stress and even depression into a feeling of resourcefulness. Mindfulness, it's very much talked about, mindfulness, in terms of it's a word that lots of people are saying and using and bandying around. And I'm going to share a couple of things that I do that move you from the head and move you into the heart and into the feelings of resourcefulness and emotionful space of peace. Look at the five senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? And what do you feel? And the feel here is not I feel sadness, I feel loneliness, I feel upset. That's mind feel. The feel is, how does the sun feel on my face? How does the wind feel in my hair? How does the shirt feel against my skin? How do the trousers feel against my legs? How does the water feel on my back as I'm in the shower? This is mindfulness, being present, sensory feel. It's not something you have to remember because your five senses you're with all of the time. Step out into nature, even if it's a walk around the block, even if it's a walk to your local stores or your local area, even if it's a walk or a jog. And if you have the energy, move into a place where you will expend that energy, like the gym. This weekend, on Saturday, I'm going dancing to 80s music. It's called day clubbing. It is a phenomenon that is all over the country, and there are different pop-up day clubbing discos of 70s and 80s music. And I'm really looking forward to it because I feel that it is a reward for all the work that I have done, and it will change my frequency and it will move my energy into a higher vibration. And when there aren't events, I tend to dance in the office or in the living room or in the bedroom, having my headset on loud and dancing to music that appeals. Create healthy boundaries. Learn to say no when no works, rather than saying yes to everything. Or take a pause. Don't answer straight away. Consider, think about it, because it might be a no in the breath that you saw it, and it might turn into a yes. That sounds exciting. I'd like to consider this opportunity, rather than just knee-jerk responding. When we knee-jerk and respond, it's always difficult to know how we would respond if we didn't respond instantly. To respond with thought, to think about it, and if it's a no, at least you've considered it. In today's modern times, we have this knee-jerk reaction to respond instantly, and it's not always the right way to respond, because we are responding from what we are experiencing internally, and that doesn't help, because it might be that you're in a negative situation, or you've got your head buried in a difficult task that you're doing, and so then it's a disruption, and you may not respond as positively. So consider taking a breath and pausing, and then respond when you're in the right space to respond to the question, an email, a notification, or even a post that you have seen, because it may be different. By stop, pause, reflect, and then respond from the heart rather than from the knee and jerking with it. And you will create more positive human interaction and connections. Seek support. The power of therapy is amazing. I'm a full-time therapist. I've been doing therapy work now since 2000. And in the last 25 years, that doesn't mean I don't have situations and circumstances and events that don't affect me. That's not what I'm talking about. And it gives you resources, and it gives you practices, and it gives you somewhere that you can go to work through what's creating your challenges internally, whether it be physical, emotional, mental, or behavioral. Turn to your community. In the community, you'll be surprised. Neighbours, friends, family, colleagues, you'll be surprised how much support there is within your community and the wider communities that you belong to. Authentic conversations. Sometimes it's important to say it as it is. I have this saying, that is exactly how it is. I just as is it. There's not a lot I can do about it, and I am in awareness. I call it as ising. And when you as is, it's up to you how you respond and react to that as is. This is the problem. This is the situation. You will feel more negative and hopelessness when you have no control. So look at the things that you can control so that you feel resourceful and resilient and have a higher vibration in life. Reframe chaos into collective empathy and healing. Let me say that again. Reframe chaos into collective empathy and healing. When you look at something in a empathic way, you will pass that empathy to others. Others will feel that compassion and that empathy that you feel. And this is how we can change our vibration, not only for ourselves, but for others that are closely connected with us, whether they be closely physically or in the global world online. Take small daily choices and nurture your emotional resilience. In closing, peace begins within each of us and it ripples outwards. Remember, no matter how heavy life feels, there is always a way back to peace, and it starts with you. The world outside can feel uncertain, filled with stories of conflict, crisis, change. Peace does not come from the absence of noise. It comes from learning to create the calm within the noise. Until next time, take a breath. Take another breath and find your calm. Remember, you have the power to bring light into even the heaviest of days. From my heart to yours, thank you for joining me. Let's keep choosing compassion and calm and connection, one moment at a time. I'm Caroline HEWARD, the Harley Street Stress Expert, helping you from stress to strength, from fear to freedom. If you have enjoyed this show, please do connect with my other shows on Talking Heads. Thank you for your attention and for your interest. Please do subscribe to YouTube channels. We have 2 YouTube channels, and we have been awarded, Dr. Jacqueline has been awarded the coveted Silver Creator Award for having over 100,000 subscribers. You can find all of our Talking Heads episodes on the YouTube channels. You can find them under our playlist, Talking Heads. Please do reach out if I may be of service to you. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you and helping you move from stress to feeling calm. Please do connect with me on my social media platforms, LinkedIn and Facebook. Those are my preferred ones. And also Instagram. I'm doing a lot more on Instagram. Please do reach out to me and message me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Connect with me on email, nomorestress@live.co.uk. And thank you, Dr. Jacqueline, in the background, pulling up my LinkedIn profile. And also, if you prefer an audio approach, please reach out to me if you're international on +44. If you are local, 07523 120 189. And I look forward to moving your stress and moving you into a place of resilience and inner calm and inner peace. Namaste.
Every woman carries a story of strength, of purpose, of light. Through her courage, the world is transformed. Through her grace, generations are inspired. This is Iconic Women. Within every woman lives a goddess, a celebration of brilliance, beauty, and empowerment. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. New York, 4 p.m. London time, only here on USA, Global TVR, and radio. Featuring the iconic Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, honoring voices that shine across the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, to watch and engage with all our content. World-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.